she told me. Don't be mad. It's just a kiss with someone who matters more. I stood up, said nothing, and never looked back. Now she's begging to see me after he cheated on her. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I used to think loyalty and consistency were the two most underrated things a guy could bring to a relationship. I wasn't flashy, I wasn't the life of the party, and I definitely wasn't the type of guy who would light up a room the second I walked in. But if you needed someone you could count on, if you needed someone who would show up on time, remember the little things, and take care of business without being asked twice, I was that guy. Emily used to tell me that's why she fell for me in the first place. She said I made her feel safe. And back then, that sounded like a compliment. We met during sophomore year of college. She was in a student club that organized social events, mixers, and charity nights. She was the type of person who had 10 different group chats going on at once, always laughing, always running late, always surrounded by people. I was the opposite. I worked a part-time job at a small electronics shop, took a full course load, and kept my social circle tight. Somehow we clicked. She liked that I listened more than I talked. I liked that she could make even the most boring Tuesday night feel like a story worth telling. But over time, that safe and stable label started to feel like a cage. I noticed it the first time she introduced me to one of her guy friends, Matt, from her club. The way she lit up around him was different. Not subtle different, either. He'd make a dumb joke, and she'd laugh harder than I'd ever heard her laugh at one of mine. He'd text her during dinner, and she'd reply instantly, even while I was mid-sentence. When I asked about it, she waved me off. Relax, she said, rolling her eyes. He's just a friend. You get jealous too easily. I didn't push it. I didn't want to be the overbearing boyfriend. Besides, we were still good most of the time. She'd crash at my apartment after late nights out, leave her books scattered across my desk, fall asleep on my couch with her laptop open while pretending to study. Those small things made it feel real. But then, there were the little cracks. She'd start saying things like, "You don't have to work so much, you know. You're missing out on the fun part of being young." Or, "Why don't you ever just let go? You're always planning, always serious." I brushed it off, telling myself that opposites attract, that her being free-spirited and me being grounded was what balanced us. Still, I couldn't ignore the way her phone was glued to her hand more and more, or how she'd angle the screen away when a message came in. I asked again once, after she laughed at something on her phone and hid it quickly. "Who's that?" I asked. "Just Matt," she said casually, then gave me that look, the one that said you're being insecure again. And just like always, I let it go. Because at the end of the day, I thought she'd never cross that line. I thought she knew what we had was solid. Turns out, I was the only one who saw it that way. It happened on a Friday night. Emily had invited me over to her apartment after her club meeting. I thought it was just going to be a normal evening. Maybe order food, watch something dumb on Netflix, talk about our week. But the second I walked in, I felt it. That heavy silence that tells you something's about to go wrong. She wasn't her usual chatty self. No quick kiss, no playful "you're late." She just sat on the edge of her bed, scrolling on her phone until I put my bag down. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, kind of." She didn't look at me when she said it. I sat down in the chair across from her. "What's going on?" She sighed, like I was dragging it out of her. "Look, I don't want you to freak out, okay? It's not a big deal." The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. "Emily, just say it." She finally looked at me, and I'll never forget how casual her expression was, like she was about to tell me she forgot to pick up groceries. "I kissed Matt," she said. For a second, I thought I misheard her. My brain literally rejected the words. "You what?" "I kissed him," she repeated, still calm. "It wasn't some huge thing. It just happened after the meeting the other night. I don't want you to make it bigger than it is." I stared at her, waiting for her to backtrack, to laugh and say it was a bad joke. But she just crossed her arms like she'd been expecting this reaction. "You kissed him," I said slowly, trying to process it. "Yes," she said. Then she added, with this little shrug that burned into me, "Don't be mad. It was just a kiss." And honestly, he's someone who actually matters in my life, so it's different. That line hit harder than the confession itself. Someone who matters more than me? I asked quietly. She hesitated, which was enough of an answer. But then she pushed forward, almost defensive. "I mean, yeah, kind of. You're stable, you're good to me, but Matt understands me in a way you don't." You take everything so seriously. With him, it's just different. Fun. For a moment, everything around me blurred. The shelves of her messy apartment, the stack of empty coffee cups on her desk, the posters on the wall. It all faded until it was just me, sitting across from the girl I thought I knew, listening to her explain how I was basically the safe, boring option. I waited for anger to come. For me to yell, to demand why she did it, to ask how long this had been going on. But all I felt was this cold, quiet clarity. I stood up slowly, picked my bag off the floor, and looked at her. She looked confused, like she thought we were about to have a fight she could win. Instead, I just said, "Okay, then you won't need me anymore." Her eyes widened. "Wait, what? That's it? You're just gonna leave?" I didn't answer. I walked out the door, down the hall, and into the night without looking back. When I got back to my apartment that night, I sat on the edge of my bed for hours, bag still on the floor, shoes still on my feet. I wasn't crying. I wasn't punching walls. I wasn't even replaying her words in my head the way you'd expect. It was more like the sound had been sucked out of the world, and I was just left in the silence of what she'd said. He's someone who actually matters in my life. That one line kept looping, but not the way she probably expected. Not like a dagger, not like an open wound. It was more like a switch had flipped, and the light I'd been shining on her for the past year just went dark. I didn't text her. I didn't call her. I didn't ask for explanations. I just stopped. The next morning, I woke up, went to work, went to class, came home, made dinner. Same routine. Except now there was no good morning text from her waiting when I got up. No how's your day? Message in the middle of my shift. By the third day, she broke the silence. "Emily, hey, can we talk? It wasn't as bad as you're making it out to be." I put my phone back in my pocket. Didn't reply. That night. "Emily, I feel like you're overreacting. I told you the truth because I respect you. Doesn't that count for something?" Again, silence. On the fourth day, it shifted. "Emily, so you're just ghosting me?" After everything, I muted the conversation and went back to finishing an assignment. And that was the pattern for the next couple of weeks. She'd send messages that swung between casual, defensive, and guilt-tripping. One minute it was, "I miss us," and the next it was, "You're being so dramatic." I didn't respond to a single one. Instead, I poured everything into myself. I picked up extra shifts at work, started going to the gym with a buddy, even pulled my grades up in the one class I'd been slacking on. My life, which had felt like it revolved around her orbit, slowly started to center on me again. People noticed. Friends who had seen me always bending to her schedule now saw me free on weekends. My boss commented that I seemed sharper, more focused. Even my mom, during one of our phone calls, said, "You sound lighter, happier." She wasn't wrong. The weirdest part? It wasn't hard. It wasn't like ripping myself away from her was painful. Once Emily showed me what she really thought of me, a placeholder, a safe option, it was like the illusion shattered. The Emily I thought I loved didn't exist. And if she didn't exist, then there was nothing to miss. Word travels fast on a college campus, even when you don't ask for it. I didn't go looking for updates on Emily, but people volunteered them anyway. A friend from my math class casually mentioned seeing her and Matt at a party. Another time, a mutual acquaintance let it slip that Emily had basically moved into his place within a couple of weeks of me leaving. I just nodded and kept it moving. I wasn't interested in the details, but the tone people used when they mentioned her told me enough. It wasn't long before I started hearing the cracks. Apparently, Matt was a lot more charming in public than he was behind closed doors. The kind of guy who looked like fun when you were drinking with him at 2 a.m., but turned cold and dismissive when the spotlight wasn't on him. I never asked, but people told me anyway. He openly flirted with other girls at bars, even while Emily was standing there. He'd disappear for days without texting her back. He bragged about hooking up with someone else while she was in the room. From the outside, it looked brutal. But on my end, my life had never felt calmer. I picked up more hours at work, stacked my savings, and finally replaced my busted old laptop. I started going to the gym 3 times a week and actually stuck with it. My sleep got better. My grades improved. Every area of my life felt like it was gaining momentum now that I wasn't spending energy on someone who saw me as safe but boring. The silence between Emily and me stretched from weeks into months. But just when I thought she'd finally faded into the background for good, the messages started again. Attempt 1, light, casual. It was a Wednesday evening. My phone buzzed with a number I hadn't seen in weeks. Emily, hey, I miss talking to you. Hope you're okay. I stared at it for a moment, then locked my phone and went back to my workout. Attempt 2, defensive. A few days later, Emily, so you're really just gonna ignore me forever? I told you the truth because I respected you. You're acting like I cheated with 10 guys or something. I muted the number again. Attempt 3, guilting. The following week, another message. Emily, you didn't even fight for me. Do you know how that made me feel? Like I wasn't worth the effort. Don't you care at all? This time, I actually chuckled. Fight for her. She'd kissed another guy and told me he mattered more. What was I supposed to fight for? Second place. Attempt 4, the visit. When texts didn't work, she tried showing up. One night, I got home from work and found her sitting on the steps outside my apartment building. She looked different, not the carefree Emily I remembered. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back like she hadn't bothered to style it. Oversized hoodie instead of her usual carefully put-together look. Can we talk? She asked when I walked up. I stood there with my keys in my hand. About what? About us, she said quickly. About everything. I messed up, okay? He used me. He was seeing other girls the whole time. I was stupid, but what we had, that was real. We can fix this, can't we? I didn't move. I didn't raise my voice. I just said, Emily, you told me he mattered more. That was all I needed to hear. Her face fell, and for the first time, I saw a panic flicker in her eyes. Attempt 5, the anger. 2 days later, my phone lit up again with her name. This time, the tone was different. Emily, wow. So that's it. You're really just done with me? After all the time I gave you? You'll never find someone like me again. I didn't answer. And the truth was, she was right, but not the way she thought. I would never find someone like her again. Because I would never accept someone like her again. It happened at a mutual friend's birthday party a couple months later. I almost didn't go. I knew there was a chance Emily might show up, but in the end, I decided why should I miss out on a good time because of her? Sure enough, she walked in halfway through the night. I saw her the second she spotted me, that wide-eyed hesitation, then the forced little smile like she was about to perform. I didn't move. I just kept talking with the people I was with. Eventually, she worked her way across the room and slipped into the empty chair next to me. Hey, she said softly, like nothing had happened. I gave her a polite nod. Hey. She bit her lip. So, you're really not going to talk to me? Not even here. I set my drink down. What is there to talk about, Emily? Her tone sharpened instantly. I made one mistake. One. And you didn't even fight for me. You just walked away like I was nothing. Do you know how much that messed me up? I looked at her, calm as ever. You told me Matt mattered more than I did. I believed you. That's not me walking away like you're nothing. That's me respecting what you said. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. You want to call it a mistake? I continued. Fine. But mistakes are tripping over a word in class. Forgetting a homework deadline. What you did wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. And you made it. She leaned closer, desperate now. We had something real. Don't tell me you didn't feel it. We can get that back? I shook my head. I don't hate you, Emily. I don't even think about you. Whatever happens in your life now, it has nothing to do with me. I stood, wished the group a good night, and left her sitting there in the noise of the party, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. After that night, the messages stopped. No more texts, no more surprise visits, no more guilt trips. Just silence. I never asked what became of her, but I heard enough in passing to get the picture. Matt bailed on her completely, of course. Her grades never recovered. The friends who once cheered her on drifted away when the drama became too much. Meanwhile, my life kept moving forward. I stacked more savings, got a better job offer, and even started seeing someone new. Someone kind, grounded, and nothing like Emily. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was playing catch-up to someone else's chaos. I felt steady, strong, free. The funny thing is, Emily once accused me of taking life too seriously, of always planning, always being stable. But stability is what saved me. It's what gave me peace when she blew up her own world chasing cheap thrills. I don't replay her words anymore. I don't lie awake wondering what I could have done differently. Because the truth is, the second she said, "He's someone who actually matters," she handed me the only clarity I ever needed. I walked away, and I never looked back. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.